Hey everyone, I am Anthony Scott of ToyHypeUSA.com. Today we are taking a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Classic Cartoon Collection, Rasputin and Genghis from NECA Toys. These are available now and exclusive to Target here in the US, as well as some international retailers. So if you live outside the US, check out where to buy on ToyHypeUSA.com in the written portion and photo gallery of this review. A couple of our sponsors will be carrying them. This figure 2-pack is in a window box packaging with very nicely done artwork on the front. You see Rasputin and Genghis right there as they appeared in the cartoon back in 1988. You also have the classic Ninja Turtles logo. You have the Nickelodeon logo up on top right there. Sides gives you a look at the figures. So there's Rasputin and the other side, Genghis. Back of the packaging gives you another look at the figures right there. You also have a brief description and you have a look at other figures that are available now, as well as one upcoming, the Ultimate Foot Soldier, which you see right here. Still not released, so he's going to be another one for 2021. You also have same logos that you did on the front there. Top of the box gives you a few more logos, as well as the turtle shells. And bottom of the box, you have all the great people at NECA Toys responsible for bringing this amazing set together. A couple more logos right there, and there is the UPC. I would like to thank our friends at NECA Toys for providing the set for review. Greatly appreciate it. So what I'm going to do now is open this up and let's take a closer look. Here is your in-hand look at the first two punk frogs being offered, which includes Rasputin and Genghis as seen in the classic cartoon series. Both figures feature phenomenal likenesses, as you can see. I'm personally loving the light green deco on Genghis and the darker green on Rasputin. I think they really captured that extremely well. They're both in their shirts, which you saw in the series, as well as different colored shorts, which you see there. I looked it up, and these figures come with accessories inspired from two very different episodes in the series. They appeared in around 6 episodes, but these episodes include Invasion of the Punk Frogs, as well as the final episode where Genghis and Napoleon appeared was Dirk Savage, Mutant Hunter. So you're going to have likeness and accessories from those 2 episodes, which is very cool. The head sculpts, phenomenally done here. Very nice details. And let's turn these around, giving you a look. You'll also note that they include the shading that we've seen consistently throughout the run here, which includes the light and dark green. The light green is in the front, while the dark green is in the back. Genghis has the light green in the front, and a different tone of a darker green in the back. The circles on the shirt, paint apps on those, very nicely done. You also note that the differences in the dark and light deco also follow with the shorts as well, which is pretty cool. Oop. One thing I've noticed about these figures is that they're a little bit tricky to stand up. The legs don't properly go up like that. You have to bend the knees and adjust the ankles a little bit, and that's really the best way to get these 2 guys to stand. Rasputin here is inspired from Invasion of the Punk Frogs episode, which was their introductory episode, and you see here it comes with some really cool looking accessories. In the episode, Shredder found them and he trained them and he handed them accessories. This includes 4 arrows, which you see right here. 3 have the pointed tip. This one has the face, which you see right here. Comes with the quiver, which you can store the arrows in, as well as a bow, which you see right here. And you also see that very thin wire, which is on the fragile side, so just be aware of that. It comes with the turtle communicator, or a turtle phone, whatever you prefer to call it. This doesn't open and close like the 1/4" scale classic cartoon figure did that we just took a look at. An alternate head, and a little tiny version of himself before he was mutated. You also see 4 interchangeable hands right here. 2 already on his wrists, so there's 6 total. Genghis is inspired from 2 different episodes, one of which being Invasion of the Bonafrogs, which we also saw Rasputin inspired from, but he's also inspired from Dirk Savage, Mutant Hunter. And from that episode, you have the Mutant Trap, which is right here, and you have this disguise that he wore on the bus from that episode, where he and Napoleon went to visit the Turtles, and they were captured, along with other mutants that were later freed in the episode. Invasion of the Bonafrogs, you have the axe right here, which is what Shredder gave him. You have the Communicator, which is exactly the same as the other one. 6 interchangeable hands total. You have an alternate head sculpt, and you have a tiny version of himself before he was mutated. Here's a closer look at the T-phones, the communicators, the turtle phones, whatever you guys prefer to call them. These are the same as previously offered, so you should know what to expect as far as these paint apps and everything else. Very nicely done. They really did a stellar job on the likenesses. Very happy with how these came out. These phones in the show were also ahead of their time by decades. Back in the cartoon, they were able to see each other on the screen here and communicate. Well, today that was, it's called FaceTime. So they had the technology in the cartoon decades before we did, which is pretty cool. And that's usually how it is with science fiction and stuff like that. Here's a look at the other one. You see the buttons and everything are individually painted. Here's a look at the back of the phone. The phone doesn't close and the antennas are not articulated, in case you were wondering. Here's a look at Genghis's disguise, which he used in the episode Dirk Savage, Mutant Hunter. He wore this on the bus while on his way to visit the Turtles, and then he was captured. As you can see, this is really not much of a disguise, and you can clearly see that he's a mutant. This disguise is supposedly supposed to make his face look human. However, it fails to do so, much like the Turtle in Disguise 4-pack. You can clearly see the mutant elements on them, and you could tell that they're mutants as well. Speaking of which, I'm still trying to get my hands on that 4-pack, by the way. This disguise falls off. As shown, it's just placed on his head. You know, you move him, it'll fall off as shown. So, there's your look there. And it also has that same deco style, light in the front, dark in the back, on the top of the hat part there. Let's take a closer look at those facial details. Genghis also comes with the Mutant Trap, which you'll remember from the episode Dirk Savage, Mutant Hunter. This trap is mostly in gray, white, and blue, which you see there. And it's made of a little bit of a soft plastic, so you can bend it a little bit, as shown. See, it's a little bit bendy. His foot just slides in, as shown, and you can put it on the ground here. This is a really neat accessory, and it definitely adds a lot of display value with the set. I also went ahead and put in a different set of hands. These are his pointy finger hands, which you see here. Rasputin and Genghis also include their signature weapons as seen in Invasion of the Punk Frogs. Rasputin includes a bow, 4 arrows, one of which is a trick arrow, and a quiver, which you can put around his torso by first removing his head. And all 4 of the arrows can fit right inside, as shown. Let's take a closer look at these arrows. So, 3 of which are standard. This one is a trick arrow, which you see there. And putting that back. The bow also has a little peg, which you see right here, but there's no hole in the arrow, so there's really no way to rest the arrow on the peg. You could probably put it on his hand or something and just try to get it as close as possible, but I had a little bit of trouble with that. Genghis includes his signature axe, which you see here. Very nicely done, loving the paint apps and everything. There's also a little bit of battle damage on the axe, which is a nice little extra detail that they introduced here. And you also see that on the other side as well. The axe has black lines on either side, nicely done, and a brown handle with a little bit of nicely done sculpted detail there. They also come with a pre-mutagenized version of themselves, also from the episode Invasion of the Punk Frogs. These are non-articulated figures, but they do have great sculpts and some nicely done sculpted details as well, which you see here. In this frame, I went ahead and put on their interchangeable head sculpts, which you see here. Genghis has a closed mouth on both sides on this head sculpt, and Rasputin has an open mouth on both sides. Both head sculpts on these are the same, they're just repainted. I also went ahead and put on some of their other hand sculpts. This one's with the 2 fingers sticking up. I also put a different open grip hand for the bow. On Rasputin, I put one of his closed-fisted hands on. Here's a comparison with the Punk Frogs along with the cartoon versions of the Turtles. You'll notice that the green tones are very different. They really did a nice job capturing the source material, and these are phenomenally done. Here's a comparison with Shredder. As you can see, both Punk Frogs are shorter than Shredder, just as you will remember from the cartoon, so NECA has been paying extra close attention to the scale of each character, and they've just been doing a phenomenal job. Here's a comparison with Leatherhead. There's an episode when Leatherhead goes to the Florida swamps and captures the frogs. It's a really good episode, so I just wanted to use him in the photo gallery and video portion of the review, just to give you guys a look at the scale and everything else. Leatherhead, just like Shredder, is larger than the Punk Frogs, so as I said, NECA's paying extra close attention to that. I also want to update this review. Rasputin, the arrow can be placed in between his fingers and put up right to the bow, but I had a lot of trouble putting his hand on the tip of the arrow as if he's holding it. It's just that this peg on the arrow here doesn't connect or anything to the arrow, which is unfortunate. So what I'm going to do is just bring this a little closer just to give you guys a visual of what I'm talking about. You'll see this little peg joint right above the arrow right there, and you'll see the arrow placed in between his fingers. So that's really the only way I could figure out to get him to hold an arrow. The necklaces around their neck are not removable, and they're also painted in different colors. This one has a little bit of a light gray with a yellow triangle. The other one is black with a yellow triangle, which is painted in a different shade. Overall, these figures are phenomenal. Highly recommend picking these up, especially if you've been buying the classic cartoon collection. If you're buying that, most likely you're buying the movie, the arcade figures, and anything else turtle related that NECA is putting out. So these make great additions to the line. Highly recommended. These are available at Target stores now here in the US, and they're also available at some international retailers. For where to purchase, check out toyhypeusa.com on the written review and photo gallery of this review. There's a list of sponsors. You can see which ones will ship internationally. Thank you again to NECA Toys for providing these figures for review. Greatly appreciate it. I am Anthony Scott of toyhypeusa.com. Please like and share this video as it tells YouTube to share it with more people. Thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for more coverage.